Hello and welcome into Off Topic. I'm Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdinho on Sorare. Hello, everyone. Celebrating my 2-year anniversary here at SorareData, which happened on Wednesday, 2 days ago, and I completely forgot. Didn't even think about it. And then all of a sudden I was like, man, it's coming up to the 2-year anniversary. And then I was like, oh my gosh, it was literally yesterday. Pablo, don't worry about not having a present. All good. John Andrews, good to see you. DD Sorare said I should be fashionably late by a minute or two, but I was on time today, I think. DD Sorare, who got to enjoy that Phillies Braves game. Did you go last night? No, it was a few days ago, I think. But thanks to Sorare, I saw the pictures. That's good. It's Wilson. What's up? Brone's here, also celebrating a 2-year anniversary. There's on Sorare, mine at SorareData. STB, what's up? Good to see you. Alex Wilson, what better way to start the weekend than being here and watching Carl Hein play for Estonia? If that is not like a quintessential Sorare thought, I don't know what is. Kev Hurd, what's up? Sari, thanks for coming in. Let's see. Brad Craig, happy anniversary. First time watching live. Oh, in a couple weeks. I've been busy enduring Disney World and COVID. I feel like one may have led to the other. One of those sounds great. The other one, not as much. Berger asking if this is a pineapple stream. It is not, but man, that was probably a good idea. That's what happens when I don't plan these things at all. Charlie, hello. Thanks for coming in, everyone. Brown said we're all in the Carl Hein boat, right? I am not, but good luck to you guys with all of that. That's not one that I ever got into. Alex Wilson is right here, though. Isn't burger mealing great? I wasted 2 burger mealing cards this game week, and man, just bummed about wasting one. And I had a conversation, very brief conversation with my good friend Keith, Gator Guy 231, and we started to think that maybe, actually, let me just show you guys. I don't think he had a specific lineup like this, but I did. And here it is. I'm going to pull this up really quickly. So I didn't have a limited goalie for this midweek. Messi obviously not starting, kind of killed this. But Keith saw this lineup. I was 25 points short of a tier 5 limited. And his comment was, he had a similar lineup like this. We probably should have played our lineups in 270 because we were both kind of sure that Neymar was going to bang, and getting a 50% captain on 94 points maybe would have been more beneficial. So let's see. So like 336 was like a minimum reward in All-Star, and let's see what it would have been in 270, because I kind of feel like people would just throw their lineups into All-Star. So 370, yeah, that would have been an easy reward. Man, blew it, but something to think of. Berger says 1 a.m. in Korea, but live is much better than recorded. Wow, I would never ever get up at 1 o'clock or stay up until 1 o'clock to watch anything. So thank you very much. And then, yeah, the burger's there from Alex. And Mike Basson, it's Friday, it's 5 p.m. It's solo Laird o'clock. I like that. I like it. Scosmo, thanks for dropping in. God knows what you have planned for a Friday night. Withy. Yeah, I don't feel like this is like a congrats. Mike Basson, 2 years and still cannot speak a word of French. This is true. That is a true story. Yeah, sorry. I'm just looking here back at this 270 lineup. Second place had a goalie that scored 9 points. So my 0 would have been somewhat competitive. Man. Charlie is asking what my bedtime is. All right, 5 minutes in. Let's do it. I go to sleep between like 9:30 and 11. And I just prioritize sleep. And I wake up around 6:30. And I only do that because I have young children who wake me up. I don't like naturally wake up that early. So don't worry. Sorare Holland says it's 12 a.m. here in China. Sorare Holland being in China is just like also waiting for the Holland game to start, to be fair. That's fair. Yeah. I don't even know what games are on today. Let's see. Is there anything exciting? Obviously, Estonia. Oh, I have way too many cards playing on a Friday. Oh, yeah, because it's the double game week. So Friday, Monday. Yeah. All right. Got Portugal against Slovakia. Obviously, that looks like an important one for me. And then maybe I can use my Runner Runnerson, but who knows? What a horrible card that's turned out to be. But speaking of internationals, or really the international break on Sorare, I wasn't really going to talk about this, and I don't think I'm going to talk about it too much, but man, are the crazies out, huh? I'm just kidding. Kind of kidding. It seems like there's a loud minority of, I don't even know. Well, it's probably a minority, but there's a loud minority of Sorare managers who are upset about their galleries, and they've decided to take it to Twitter, and other people are kind of piling on, and it seems like people aren't that excited about Sorare right now, and they can't seem to get the idea that the harder it is to win, that they want both. They want it easier to win, but fewer rewards. And so that's kind of tough because it doesn't really work this way. And so I was realizing I wasn't really here celebrating 2 years. I have nothing to say about over the last 2 years. I'm sure I'll get into stuff. But I was like, I had a really fun week of Sorare, and I realized that my job allows me to have a little more fun with Sorare than other people. But I got to stream with Quinny twice. I did the strategy show on Monday with Sean, and then we did Sorare Andrews with the Sorare Down Under guys. That was a ton of fun. That was like one of the most fun I've had on a show in 2 years. And then Limited Time Only was really fun yesterday. I had a lot of fun this week. And it's like unfortunate that there are people. Oh, and I did Nellis's show yesterday. That I knew there was something else. And I don't know. It doesn't bum me out because I kind of separate myself from it, but I wish more people were having fun. And hopefully when domestic football gets back, we can all go back to just worrying about our lineups and being angry about that instead of gallery values and all that stuff. And I don't know. The bummer is that not that nobody has solutions, because there are solutions out there. There are ideas. Let me say there are ideas out there, but the ones that people really want don't work. And they don't work because they effectively lead Sorare directly to bankruptcy. And they're just like, yeah, but we're winning more, so that's cool. And it's like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Alex said it's a demand issue, isn't it? Yeah, it is. That's all. Lose Yourself said, are you an owner or an ambassador? Excuse me. Are you an owner or an ambassador of SorareData? I am an employee of SorareData. I do have a minute ownership stake as well. I was the first full-time employee, I believe, as of 2 years and 2 days ago. Germ said, did Maxime splash cash on a Ren card for your SD anniversary? No, I don't think Maxime would ever buy a Ren card for anything. Yeah, certainly not. The worst was like the first game week that I played all my Ren guys. They played nonce, and I was like, oh, I can't even talk to Maxime about it. But there are other employees at SorareData who are Ren supporters, including SRR1. And so that makes it a little easier. There was a DD Sorare said, bringing the Sorare Down Under lads to a wider audience was a great move. Their shows are class. They're great. They really are. And Charlie said the Down Under guys were great. would be cool for it to be a monthly show or something fun. Yeah, I agree. I there was no part of the end of that show where I was like, well, never doing that again. Like I I had way too much fun. And I'll be honest that I I don't want to say I felt nervous talking to them, but they're so funny and good, and it's just one of those that like you have to step up your game a little bit to like keep up with them. And yeah, that's all it is. It was weird. I don't know, but it was great. It was great. Let's see. Charlie said, I saw lots of people saying they want another threshold that requires higher points. Well, obviously, we all want more free money. I agree. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And Mike Basson said, isn't there an issue every time new season cards come out for any league? So that's, I think, what people don't get is either they didn't think of it or just never realized it. But as long as like teams are licensed, like we're going to get new cards every year. And they really don't ever come, not that they don't come close, but they fully mint players so rarely that I just don't, I don't know. It's like a surprise to everybody when all these new cards hit the market. And they're like, they got to slow these auctions down. It's like, no, these are when the card, like, slowing auctions inevitably leads to them auctioning the cards when people don't want them. Like later in the season, when the utility is lower, people want, like, that's why there's so many auctions right now, because this is when people want new cards. They want new cards to play them all season so they can keep winning. WP Gaming says, as an exclusively football player currently, I need the NBA shows back. The NBA show will come back. I don't know if it is going to be exactly like last year, but we will have a regular NBA show. Absolutely. Sora Holland says, no more card rewards, just ETH cash, maybe. I don't know. So this is actually an idea that Surface to Air Missile has had for years. He's long been a proponent of ETH only rewards or whatever, money. And I think that actually takes away. So it's a weird thing that it takes away, I think, some of the fun of the game. And obviously it eliminates a lot of the frustrations that we get of when you get a guy who absolutely sucks and you're just like, oh, what am I going to do with this card? But there are times where you win someone and you're like, I've never heard of this guy. And you look and you're like, oh my God, Marvin Vonacek is awesome. And yeah, Charlie's like, exactly. Rewards would be so boring. And then Scosmo just wants the money. So we can't agree. Yeah, and Estonia is already losing. Oh, come on, guys. Carl. And Mike Basson. So I'm glad you said this here, but you said, as I said privately, the Down Under boys are like a younger version of Me in Black, which I take as a total compliment because they're great. Scosmo said the argument of removing fun seems like no one has fun anyway. So it's wrong. You're wrong. People are having a ton of fun. Upset people are just louder. So this is my thought of this. Sora Holland said, yeah, the fun at reward time would definitely be boring, but at least you can decide for yourself what to buy and at what price. So if all of the rewards were in cash or ETH, whatever you want, would there be this like gigantic gap between the good players and the not as good players? Like, would the prices of elite cards skyrocket because now we all have money and we want to go use those cards? And so ultimately the cards at the bottom are go unowned. Like nobody wants them. And I guess you can make the argument that that's not a bad thing because nobody wants those cards now anyway. But I don't know. I feel like it inevitably leads to a lot of cards going unowned. And is that actually good for Sorare? Charlie said, I've always thought an option to either get for example, a tier 2 or be able to pick ETH that would be 70% of the tier 2 value instead. So the problem with that is relying on Sorare's valuations. And that's, I don't know. Mike says maybe a brand new cards example, cards with specific signings, brand model has just the World Cup was. I don't know. I'm not quite sure I understand that. Maybe a new brand of cards with specific signings. Brand model has just the World Cup. I'm not sure what that means. I'm sorry. Berger said, I've got the keeper from Excelsior from 5th in Cap 220 and got one jersey mint and a U23 forward. That's amazing. Really enjoyed being nudged into finding new teams. So that's all it is. Like so much of Sorare, and as much as we want to say like it's really all about Champion Europe and it's just about the Premier League and like those are the ones that anyone ever cares about, it's just not true. Like fundamentally, this is a global football game where those who do the best in the game expand beyond Champion Europe and no players in other leagues. And you lose the push to learn more about those leagues when you reward ETH. Like it's as simple as that. Why would anybody ever go out and buy Marvin Vonnetzek on his own? Well, he scores well. Yeah, but plenty of guys score well. And if you had the money, like he's the card that you buy because you can't afford Kimmich. But all of a sudden, if you have all this ETH, but then it's everybody has ETH. I don't know. I have yet to have somebody convince me that it's a total win of just rewarding ETH or whatever it is. Sam Bain said, really don't understand all the negativity. I've been playing for a year now and made gradual progress the whole way through. The game is fun and I'm progressing exactly how I thought I would. Hell yeah, Sam. Nice work. That's awesome. Belisari said, there are many tier 4, 5 cards I want, but I'm never winning those. There are really that many tier 4 and 5 cards you want? Really? Sorare Holland said, if there's only ETH in cash, there are definitely new tournaments needed where shit players can only be entered. So if we go to a ETH only process, which means that Sorare auction every card or can auction every card. Well, that's the only way that cards can get into the market. Does that make Sorare more money or less money? Like that's the answer, or that's the consideration, excuse me. Because if the idea is everyone is holding their ETH or they're only spending it on certain subsets of cards, that's losing for Sorare. Because the number of rewards that they give out every week will not be the same. Excuse me. The number of cards that they will sell for whatever the price will not be equal to what they reward. And you're like, oh, but they make every dollar, every penny that they auction. But the number of cards that will actually be bought will be so much lower, even with more users. It's just, I just don't see economically how it benefits Sorare to the point that they choose to do it. Like if you were running this business, if you were running any business, and someone's like, what would make everyone really happy is if you did this thing that costs you more and it doesn't really make you any more money. And you'd be like, why would I do that? Like, because people will be happy and you'll get more users. And you're like, oh, so I'll have so many users that eventually I'll make money. And they're like, probably not. Probably not. Like, who's saying yes to that? Germ said there's more to Sorare than winning when it comes to the fun department. That is fun, not fun. I agree. I will say that, and I've talked about this a little bit, that collection building now has become a huge part of what I do every day now. And that's really fun for me on Sorare, is trying to figure out how to make my collection better. And so it's just not about what my gallery value is this moment. But I think people think of that too much. And I think they also consider that. So I think people don't really think about reward wins as helping their ROI, even though they, it depends what the rewards are worth. But people are also way too quick on it. Like well, it's been 3 months and my cards are worth less. This game sucks. It's like, why did you think that they would be worth more in 3 months? You're like, well, because they're NFTs. They just go up. Number go up. You're like, all right, well, maybe you're not good at this game. Berger said cards over ETH should be the business approach. ETH does not make new fans. I like that. It's Wilson said, I had a ton of fun building a Challenger Europe team, LTO style today. Oh, I love LTO style. I love that. Discovering awesome players that aren't the big names. And Matchlow said, Vonacek is offsets, so he's not the same player like last season. That is true. That is true. Lars Stindl, everybody was like, oh, play both of them. And it was like, oh. Lose Yourself said, I won Ademola Lookman in the Global Cup when I was a free-to-play player, and a whole new portal was opened in my journey. I don't even know who Lookman plays for these days. Atalanta. Really? Way to be, Mola. They probably call him Ade or something. Didn't he play for Fulham? Why did I think he played for... Did he ever play for Everton? Leicester. That's what it was. Some sort of blue. Oh, we did play for Everton. Still got it. Let's see. Sari said, I prefer the thrill of unearthing new gems. Had a tier fry from Austria, Lustenau, who were rock bottom, then found out he was on loan from Bayern Munich. Long-term hold now. Wow. I mean, cool. Why not? And Didi Sorare brings this is the big point. Not all ETH rewards would get reinvested into the game economy. A lot of people would withdraw small amounts more regularly instead of buying from auctions. Didi, I would make the argument that most ETH rewards would not get reinvested. Sorahan said, auction every card and take the 5% fee. But if you're making less on the auctions, then does auctioning everything but for less money equal what you're doing right now? Or is it better? If it's better, I feel like if it's better, they would do that. Because people think they want that. Pedigo said, I think what is worrying is the constant price drop in prices over the last 2 years. If this keeps going tier 2 through 5, most of them will be below 1 threshold, which doesn't make any sense. Tier 4 or 5s are now pennies. I mean, I'm not here to tell you that prices are not going up. Excuse me, not going down. Let me see, because I talked about this on Nellis's show. October. So I made this list. I'll pull it up here for you guys. I made this list in October of 2022. Oh, almost, let's see, 51 weeks ago. I made this list. And it's a SorareData watch list of, I think it was literally just like the top 50, 51 apparently, L15 or L40 players in America and Asia. And I was like, I think these guys will be worth more in February or March than they are now. Because it was like end of season and cards generally are worth less at the end of seasons as opposed to the beginning. And so I made this list, and then all of a sudden there was like a global recession and the cards were not, as they went down in price. And so it was like here, and then in February, they were basically almost even in February. And they were even up in January. But yeah, and then all of a sudden everything is more expensive outside of Sorare, and people aren't making as much money. And yeah, this is our steady. Now, granted, the players on this list, like Maxi Morales, transferred from New York City FC, and Callens went to Girona. Girona, right? Is that where he went? And now I didn't even know he was in Greece. Rubio has been hurt all year. I mean, this is literally just like random guys, but I was like, yeah, they'll all be worth more because Kikuchi didn't do anything. Reynoso was gone for a bit, but he's come back. Pereira's been awful. Mamana's been hurt. Let's see. Nathan had a torn ACL like right away this season. And so it was just like, yeah, they just weren't worth as much. Oh, there's Gald. Yikes. Anyway, so Cecina got hurt. $17 for his limited. So yeah, I do wonder how many new users come onto the platform and look at historical prices, to be honest. Like, how many new users know that prices are down over the last 2 years? Luis Flores said, I won the Premier League signed jersey comp, and that's the more excited I've been for reward in Sorare. That's awesome, though. Excuse me. That's awesome. And I think that we'll see more of that stuff. Not necessarily Luis winning, but yeah, we'd love to see that too. Absolutely. Pascal said, you're disregarding the fact that they will have control on all the cards. They will not give away more. Intrinsically, the cards they reward are worth something. Right, but will they make more money doing that? Will Sorare make more money or less money if they started giving away ETH in every competition and sold every card on auction? If you could give me that answer, then I'm willing to listen. Tobias said, my first ever card reward was DeAndre Yedlin. My second was Kamal Miller. So now, obviously, my next goalkeeper buy is Calendar, and I wouldn't have bought them otherwise. And now they have a really good teammate. Forget his name. Sora Holland said, if cash and ETH is not the solution, then maybe more utility tournaments are needed to pump up the prices, sales of it. But again, more tournaments means more card rewards. And we're running out of card rewards. Sam said, I support a team in the English third tier, and I want them to get promoted solely so I can use cards from my team. That's the impact of this game. Yeah, I think that's it. Spartan Dog said, what do you think would have more entries? Cap 240 with only ETH rewards or Cap 240 with only card rewards if they ran side by side and you would choose? I don't think anyone would enter Cap 240 with only card rewards. That's very dramatic, but many, 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 many more people would enter 240 with ETH. Again, that's worse for Sorare, right? Like, can we agree on that at least? That the more ETH or cash that Sorare pays out to users is bad for a business. You want to hold on to as much cash as you can. Bron said, what do you think about rewarding auction dollars instead of real dollars? Will touching threshold like that be the end? Even more selling pressure on the secondary, or a good way to create demand? Rewarding auction dollar. It's the same thing, really. That just costs Sorare too, because now they're selling cards for less because you're like, oh yeah, I'm just using my auction dollars. I don't know. I feel like that's just fake. I don't even know if that's legal. Pascal said, it's absurd no one withdraws now, even with a balance. Why would they after? They would only be able to have cards from Sorare on auction. So yes, they will mostly reinvest. I think people don't withdraw that much because it's not easy to withdraw. Like, if it was super easy to withdraw, I think many more people would withdraw. Like, they wouldn't hold a balance on Sorare. You would just hold it in your bank somewhere. Scosmo said, partnership and sponsorship to fund tournaments and relieve the pressure on Sorare funding rewards. So I've heard this idea a lot, and I like the idea. The difficulty is that it's hard to maintain if you need to find new sponsors every game week. And so you also have to find enough global companies to make it worth it for them to provide money for prizes on a random fantasy sports website. And so that's the kicker, is that there are only a handful of companies that make sense to do this. And what's the benefit? What's their benefit? How many users are going, "Oh, this is the Apple tournament. Yeah, maybe I will buy an iPhone," as you check your SorareData app on your iPhone. Like, what's the I don't know what the realistic CPM is for a Sorare user. But like, I get that. I get that idea. I'm just not sure how viable it is when one company is like, "All right, we're done. Didn't work. We didn't get any new customers." Like, how are you convincing another company to do it? Patago said, "The only fix, in my opinion, to get more users and more money on the platform. It's basically the add more ETH version." So, but what is that fix? Doesn't that make it harder for Sorare to operate as a business? Kev Hurd said, "The house always wins, but we kind of need Sorare to win or we have no game." Mike Basson said, "Still waiting for the Laird withdrawal tutorial." Yeah, I'll get right on that. Scosmo said, "It's the marketing and partnerships jobs to find and activate campaigns." I mean, obviously that exists. I just don't think it's, I don't know. I don't even know if they have that. But I guess. Less rewards, Belisarius. Less rewards and evenly spread over month-long comp like the 2 new 70. Add more competitions to utilize bad cards because utility equals value. I do think month-long competitions really piss people off. Like, I think people are going to be upset about this 270 thing. We talked about it on Monday. Sean and I did. And it's just not, it's just different. And so maybe they're like, well, hopefully we have enough new users where it doesn't piss them off because they're not used to winning all the time. But for the people who win weekly, it's like every game week, it's tough to do a month long and telling people that they just have to wait. And Patagol has said, I would love a head-to-head competition and each manager adds a card to the prize pool, winner takes all. So that's when you end up getting into your gambling thing. And my favorite is, and I don't want to like call out a specific region, but everybody from the UK is like, just get the gambling license and be on with it. And it's like, all right, well, if you're willing to have this game have 80% fewer users because now it's gambling and everyone else doesn't live in a place where gambling is legal, have fun. But Brown said, "You can't withdraw auction dollars directly to your bank account. Believe UC are doing something similar." Yeah, I mean, I'm not familiar with Ultimate Champions at all. The few things I know don't help Sorare. And Scosmo. Yep, no, I appreciate the long-term partnership. Absolutely. It's just a matter of what happens when it expires. Jerem said monthly competitions are perfect for sponsorships, not individual game weeks. I could see that. Man, the chat is bumping today. Thank you guys. Didi said monthlies are really going to divide opinions for a while still. I'm curious to see what the opinion is after this monthly one. Whether enough people will say, "Okay, that was worth it. I get it now." Because so we're being like, "Hey, we need to do this because we're running out of rewards. You should be happy about it." That people aren't going to be happy about that. Mike Basson said, "Do you think Sorare ever have the intention of doing their own independent marketing campaign and not rely on third parties?" What do you mean by that, Mike? Like, they have commercials for the football and baseball game here. Spartan Dog said, "All this talk really makes me wonder what the plan for fitness was. Really feels like it was a way to sell Boost to make more money for Sorare." I mean, they said it was. They were very clear about that. That microtransactions were a new revenue stream for them, and they need these new revenue streams to help them make money. Like they're a business. They're like realistically, the primary goal for any business is to make money and make more money than you spend. Sari said if they put Sorare coins weekly into the month-long comp, it would soften the blow slightly. It would be like ever so slightly, but I totally agree. Not putting coins there is so weird. So weird. Scosmo said brand affinity and loyalty through fully branded competitions. Long format is even better for this. I guess. Oh, Surface, thanks for coming in. We were just talking about you. Me. Sorahan, well, they should think of something because the feeling under the current user base is getting worse every week, it seems. I think there will always be people who are upset. And like the recent, I don't think there are as many people upset as we think there are. I'm not saying that there are not upset people. I would also probably argue that a lot of the upset people are upset for things that they did in the game that most of us would be like, you should not have done that. Like, why did you think that was going to be a good idea? Like, I think that no matter what happens with card values or users or whatever, there will always be users, always, who are bad at this game and will be pissed off, excuse me, and will be pissed off that they're bad, but they don't realize they're bad. They're just like, this game sucks. And it's like, no, this is your fault. There are parts of this game that are not working, and I totally get that. And actually, so one of the big, let me get through this. Let me catch up on the chat before I get into that. But somebody remind me about, well, I'll just remember. Scosmo said there's so many sectors Sorare can cut across. They could definitely attract brands if they package Sorare together as an attractive marketing medium, which it can become comes to competency. So I think that it's kind of like a TV network. You want to be popular enough so that people come to you and they're like, oh, I want to advertise on your platform. Like that's what Sorare ultimately needs to become, right? Like, is that what we want? Germ said only 23,000 users in limited All-Star on Game Week 411. For the limited market to be in a good spot, I would think an additional 100,000 entries is needed to give the market boost. Can multi-entry be the answer? No. I think multi-entry ends up being significantly worse for most users than we think it is good for anyone. Like, do you really want Nanzo to have 150 entries in the All-Star with again, a cap of rewards? I think people kind of forget about that because as long as cards are primarily the rewards, we're going to get to a point where they cannot reward anymore. And so what happens when they give out, like, it's not going to be drastically different than what they give away now. And so if Nanzo's getting 150 and Sean's getting 150 and Bellama's getting 150, like who's winning? How is that good for everybody else? Kev said, I get what Mike is saying. Aside from an ad board at football games, there's zero advertising in the UK. Content creators is all they have. Maybe they don't consider the UK as a high enough growth engine right now. Maybe they're like, yeah, we have the UK users we want. I'm just kidding. Bouncy said, surely they could market jerseys and tickets and free to play to bring in new users. Maybe. Yeah, Mike, they don't have like a ton of commercials here, but there are some. DD likes multi-entry as well. Multi-entry can be an interesting option. It's not reusing the same card twice. As far as I know, you can multi-enter in DFS comps. So there are some, like the big DFS competitions are multi-entry because they need people to pay for all their entries to make the prize pool. But that just means that the whales buy multiple of each and they keep winning. Frankly, they could buy, like you could buy 10 Kimmich rares and 10 Messi's, 10 Kimmich, 10 Kane, 10 Hakimi and Donnarumma. I don't know why those two always end up being in this lineup, this theoretical best lineup. But they just buy 10 of them, and then they play the same lineups every week. And they win all of the rewards that we think we're going to get. Germ says more entries, more utility, more cards in use circulation. But they're losing cards now. Like bad cards are being used. Yes, it's one. I agree. It's a whale benefit. Many more people will leave because of multi-entry than whoever's leaving now. Bouncy said if they get more leagues licensed, they can add more rewards. So now you want more cards. The problem is there are too many cards. There's too much supply. Adding more leagues, but like think of the leagues that they're adding now. Like what's left that we want? Like Portugal, like complete Portugal, complete Italy and France. A-League? Like what's left? What's missing that would make this game better? Or if they're like, hey, or I guess finish Mexico and Brazil and Argentina. Are those adding those leagues making this a more attractive fantasy football game for other people? Greece and Cyprus, get out of here, you two. Surface said multi-entry could be interesting if you allow multi-entries, but users can only win once per contest. The problem, like how many lineups, Surface, realistically are you going to submit if you could only win one? Like I guess we're seeing it now with 270. We have to submit 8 lineups and we're only going to win possibly 2 cards. Didi said this is why you focus group new ideas before doing Medium posts and doing a 180 2 days later. So like that's not wrong. But again, if you go to all these Medium posts, not all of them. Oh, well, that reminded me. You guys didn't remind me. So a lot of the Medium posts are just like, this is what you need. Just reward more. Give everybody $1 million, and then people will come. And it's like, well, it's not reasonable. So the popular one that started this week was from MPen, and I want to be fully transparent that so MPen has been talking about this for a while, like Sorare sustainability and how we're going to get to a point where this business model doesn't work. And I want to be totally honest that I thought he was just a real bummer. And it was like a time where people were having fun and he's like, hey, so you should just consider this. And I will say his writing is really good too. And his points are always really good. And I read it and I'm just like, man, can you just have fun? But like his intention was not to be a downer, but it's how it made me feel. But he's been right the whole time. And so I want to apologize for, even though I didn't like openly say I thought he was a bummer. Not him either, just like his opinions on Sorare. Like I read them and I'm just like, yeah, it's not this, not that I thought it wasn't this bad, but he was right. And everyone should go check it out. Is it just MPen on Medium? And Sorare. If anybody knows it in the chat, because he brings up some really good points and has for I mean, I was gonna say months, it could be years, I don't know. But the conversation that I had with Maxime a few weeks ago on office hours about like Sorare sustainability and the negative feedback we got on that, where everybody thought what we were talking about, what like DraftKings does and like what Sorare needs to consider. And everyone was like, you guys are idiots. And we were not saying that this is what Sorare has to do. We were saying these are the ideas that we would come up with if the idea was, how do you keep making money from your users? And let's see. Oh, Mike's saying it's MPen 10. Yeah, okay. Here, I'll just drop it in the chat. So it's Medium. Here's what it looks like. Medium.com/@MPen10. So, and I mean, this has gone on, let's see, it's a while. Addressing reward, like February economic viewpoint, like he's got it. This is all really good stuff. but it's also like fairly uncomfortable reading because you're sitting there just being like, this is this is all drastic, or it's not this bad. And a lot of what he said is right. And I'm not saying he's right about everything, but I think he's had just a very realistic view of the Sorare's viability and sustainability. And I just want to say that I brushed it off early, and it wasn't really until Maxime and I talked about it, and he was like, "Yeah, so I wrote about that," and it was like, "Yeah," and it was like, "Oh, you wrote about this like 6 months ago," and it's really interesting. I don't talk to MPen, but we should absolutely have him on and talk about it, because it's one of those like uncomfortable conversations that like we probably should have. Nobody has fun talking about whether Sorare is going to go bankrupt, right? Like, and that's having fun on Sorare is kind of my brand, but these are, sometimes you got to have serious conversations, So we'll have that one day. Didi said it was honest truths and a constructive point of view. Exactly. I did think that his ELO solution was not fun. Like, I get it. Be honest, I haven't read all of it yet. I like started to read it and then realized how long it was, and I was like, oh, I got to come back to this, and I just haven't come back yet. But I'll get there. So yeah, MPen, great work over the last however long it's been, year, and yeah, keep it coming. Absolutely. What else we got today? Does anybody want to trade me any 2021 Ren jersey mints? In case anyone out there has any, I would love one. It's a quick change there. Mike said he'd be good as a strategy show backup or off topic. So, yeah, I don't think it really fits in the strategy show, because the strategy show is more like about the game itself, not about Sorare, if that makes sense. But I mean, you guys don't care. You just want them on. Anyway, go subscribe to Sorare Down Under too, if we're going to talk about fun. Germ said, are you going for all Jersey Mint collection and not just 5% collection bonus? So my collection is, it has no chance realistically of getting all Jersey Mints. I actually don't even have, it's like, so far I've only gotten Jersey Mints or one-ofs. And I have to say that I hate the one-ofs. I don't hate them, but I would rather the Jersey Mints so much. But because I chose a collection that's been around for a while, there are cards like Jersey Mints of the collection that are in accounts that haven't been touched in 2 years. And I really have no way to contact these people other than hoping I submit an offer and they get an email and they remember their Sorare login. And that has been not very fruitful, which is a bummer. But Germ said one of doesn't feel special if not the first owner. To be honest, I don't even care about the first owner part. Obviously, I'm not buying 2021, 22 cards on auctions now, so I'm never the first owner. But I mean, I get it, but that part never was important to me. But I bought one yesterday that I didn't want. Like, I didn't want this card. I had actually decided the day earlier. I was talking to the Gator guy about this, and he's gone like collection crazy. It's actually really funny to watch. But when you have a situation where you're trying to get, well, it's not even an old season thing. When Jersey Mints become available, you kind of have to get them. And because you don't know, theoretically, whoever buys them next could be buying them for a collection, and then you're never going to get it. And I had a card that I bought yesterday. It was Gaetan Laborde. And literally the day before, 2 days ago, I was looking at it, and I haven't bought any non-Jersey Mints yet, but I was looking at his card and I was like, this is not a card I need. Like, I'll just get one later. And then the damn Jersey Mint got on the market, and I was like, oh. So I was like, that was the first card that I bought that I didn't want, and I spent more for it than I should have. But I'm like so into this collection. And it actually has made me think that maybe I've been looking at Top Shot wrong this whole time. I'm not going to jump into Top Shot right now, but fundamentally building this collection is really, like I was going to say, I'm doing it for the XP bonus or card bonus, whatever they call it. But that's not even true. I just kind of like want it now. And I always looked at Top Shot negatively because I was like, oh, you're just like buying things to build a collection to get something. It's literally what I'm doing now. And so maybe I didn't give Top Shot enough credit, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, I don't find myself likely buying Top Shot moments anytime soon, but I get it now. I get the like collecting is fun and how you do it, and yeah. Yeah. Bouncy said if you ever get the chance you have to go to Rehosen Park. Where is that? Why would I do that? What is that? Oh, is that yeah, that's where Ren play. Sorry. Rosen. Literally didn't even know. I would love to go to a Ren game at some point. The list of places I'd like to go is really long. And like I think it would be really cool. And I feel everybody says this, but I would love to just go on like some sort of European like football adventure. Broden said losing to the Owl in the HSV 2022 collection is infuriating. Really hard, expensive to come back for an old collection with no auctions available. And the Owl is like is one of those that doesn't care about not selling cards. Like they have a price, and if it's not met, like they'll keep it. Server said MPen's idea for Sorare is similar to what I think should be done for NBA, basically siloing users into smaller tournaments in every contest based on a ranking system. It's interesting for sure. So, and my apologies if I didn't read it correctly, because again, I haven't actually read the whole thing, but I thought that one of the ELO steps was that everybody in the top tier gets the best cards. And why shouldn't everybody have the chance to win the best cards? Like we can all enter All-Star where there's like a star available. And again, maybe I just didn't, I haven't read it, so I'll have to go back and do it. But what's the benefit of anybody playing a game that it takes them forever just to have the opportunity to win the best cards? Yeah. Germ said, I saw JR Duke list a super rare jersey mint for Marco Farfan, cheaper than last sale. So waiting for my super rare threshold was very painful, but got it in the end. What? That's not it. Nobody needs that card. Mike said, whenever we go on foreign trips, now I always look to see if there's a game somewhere to watch. Yeah, I think it's great. Germ said, do you think jersey mints count towards collection, though? 30 points for an auction and 40 points for a secondary market purchase of a one-of or jersey mint. But, like, do I think they don't count? Should they count more? Yeah, they should, because that's what I have. Server says more nuance. All right, I'll read the whole article. Not right now. You guys just want to watch me read? It's 50 for a jersey mint, though, right? Yeah, 50 for a jersey mint after 90 days. Right? 30, 10, 10. Yeah. Although I guess, and first owner is, no, that's 40. Yeah, it should be greater. You're right, Germ. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So I can't figure out a way to do like a crazy European soccer adventure without it taking a month and spending thousands of dollars. Bouncy said, I just came back from a football trip. Paris, Milan, Napoli, Rennes. Epic experience, but 24-hour flight is killer. Jeez. That sounds awesome, though. But yeah, I really want to just go to London. I've never been to London. And I would love to go to London and just hit as many games as I can, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, if the Premier League is willing to do all of that. It doesn't have to stay in London. But obviously, I need to make it to Denmark at some point. I've been to an Anderlecht game, so I feel like Belgium is not like taken care of, but I got it. I'd love to see Ajax in Amsterdam. And what's funny is I really have no desire to go see a game in Italy. Like none of the, I mean, I'm sure they're fun, but I don't know. Yeah, Germany's got some cool stadiums. Like seeing a game, a Dortmund home game would be fun. I mean, there's a ton all over that I would love to see, but I just can't like figure out a way to do it economically, both in terms of time and money, since I live in the United States, which is not that close. It's just as hard to do a US tour of soccer games if I wanted to. Notice how I call them soccer because they're in the US. Louis said, I planned a 2-week trip to go and see as many matches as possible, the big teams, but it is impossible to get tickets unless you pay a lot on a resale site. That is not safe. Just call Sorare and bring a camera. Nellis does it. It's got to be easy. Kev Hurd said an Aberdeen Celtic game, top of the list. Any Celtic game with Quinny would be definitely near the top of the list. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Like I said, there are a lot of places I'd love to go. Yeah, Valencia didn't. Wasn't that the original Quinny Nellis vlog? No, isn't that where they went? Mistaya? I don't remember. So who out there has already built their lineups for the first domestic, like 417? Or no, is it oh yeah, 417. Sorare sevens is saying. So yeah, that's not happening either. But I would love to do it. I was really jealous when there was that like Sorare fantasy football con or whatever it was. Like last August, not this one that just happened like in 2022. I would like that. Louis said I have a 2021 limited collection. So does Germ. Yeah, I would love to go to Ren. Absolutely. Boca River, that's a great one. Yeah, that would be really fun. Because there's like that borderline, like, am I going to like catch a flare? Who knows? But yeah, Argentina would be awesome. That's even further from Europe. That's moving in the wrong direction if I was going to do a European tour. But I'd love to do it one day. I'm just not sure when it's going to happen. The worst part is that the summer is really the easiest travel time for me. And obviously, there's no club football in the summer. Mike saying, Sorare sevens, me, Black, PSU, Jimmer, Gator Guy, Tuggy, and Surface. It does seem like it would be doable. Kev Hart said you can get that kind of fear. I'm assuming the Boca River one at a Rangers Celtic game. So the one thing I have heard is it seems like the whole fan experience is just kind of dull in England. A lot of like sitting and just being like, oh, like literally the opposite of Boca River. But maybe I've just seen some random things. I don't know. So again, does anybody want to sell me some Ren 2021-22? Oh, I was going to bring that up. So I was talking to, I won't, plus Sorare 7 says Quinny, McBride, and Haber. Yeah, I mean, those are 3 people that, yeah, it would be fun to meet them. That's part of the reason I want to go over at least somewhere in the UK. But I assume London was easiest because like I've met Nellis before, but I've never met Quinny, never met Haber, Nep. Like these are people I'd like to meet because I talk to them a decent amount. And it's just weird to never actually like see people in person, at least. Sam said Premier League games are like that, but the championship and lower has incredible atmosphere. Yeah, Grassi is in that collection, and clearly I should have bought one a while ago, and now he's way way too expensive. That collection has like some crazy forwards in it. And I have like the two worst ones. Like it's Sulemana, Laborde, Terrier. I have three. Doku, Guarassi, if that's how you say it. Jerm said the gatekeeping on those limited Ren 2021 jersey mints or one-ofs is insane. I need one more and finishing the collection. I will be second 5% bonus. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit on limited time only, I think. But yeah, the limited collections are so hard because there's so many more people who are willing to build them. And so, yeah, it's just very difficult. Very difficult. And yeah, getting that Alamdar, who's the only playing goalie right now from that Ren collection, is frustrating. But what was I just saying? So buying those collections. The biggest problem I have recently is, again, because these cards are like 2 years old, the amount that some people paid for these cards is absurd. And so there was one the other day that I wanted, and the floor is like I think it was $109 was the floor. And whoever bought the one of it spent like $2,200. And it was like, if you spent $2,200 on something, would you sell it for like $150? Even though that's 50% more than the floor? And the answer is no. The answer is no, they would not. Yeah. Kev Hurd and Sorare Holland are waiting for an all expense paid trip to Boca River. Good luck with that one, boys. Good luck. I feel like I talked about a lot and nothing. You guys got anything else, or is it time to go? I don't know if, let's see. Sorry, I'm just looking ahead quickly to the games next week. Game week 4, 4/16. Oh, there are a ton of matches in the midweek. All right. That'll be good for the preview. That'll be good. But O'Brien said, love selling cards for losses. Got to keep those taxes down. If that's the case, boy, do I have some offers to make. I didn't think about that. Taxes. Yeah. Anyway. All right. That's all I got. Thank you for everybody who has come. Chat was bumping today. So really appreciate that, because I don't think I can talk for 63 minutes just on my own with nobody here. So appreciate that. If you could please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Shout out to Quinny. Speaking of Quinny, I assume he'll be back on Monday. I haven't asked him yet, but I'm going to ask him. That we'll look ahead to the next midweek. So we'll do that Monday morning. Strategy show Monday. Tuesday, I'm not sure what we're going to do Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we do another preview. That'll be the club football back. Obviously, limited time only will be somewhere around there. Sorare, Andrews, all that good stuff. And then be back here next Friday just to chat and stuff. So I'm going to go read this M-Pen article. And I guess everyone else should too after you subscribe to Sorare Down Under. Thanks, guys.